As actors, no, a lot of times we take this for granted, that when you're in front of the camera, you're on your mark, you're, you know, in the middle of the scene and all, and supposingly if you fumble, you forget the line, you'll just look out of the camera and say, "Ha, wo line kya tha? Sorry sir, let's just do one more." We all do these things.
Integral part of this story is the four friends.
Yeah.
And you know, it's friends like family. That kind of shapes the values given to each character.
I mean, we're playing fictional characters, but you know, the Waking of a Nation is inspired by true events.
Exactly.
But of course, we tried our best to be the characters from the past.
Those are not regrets, those are opportunities to become a better version of myself. So I said it earlier also. I couldn't even have imagined that I would be sitting with one of the most acclaimed filmmakers of our country, probably in the world.
This is not taught to them.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't know about the massacre. So when they read the script, they said, "Okay, let us look this up." And they came of, you know, really wanting to. They came and they became India lovers.
Hi everyone, this is Kunal Kothari. You're watching me on IWMBuzz, and usually when you attach the name Ram Madhvani, director, that's usually enough as a selling point. But to add to the fact that you have these fabulous people acting in it, doing some of this fabulous period drama, but at the same time giving some fabulous, you know, arcs and characters to play with, it just adds. It's the icing to the cake, and we want that. Of course, we're talking about The Waking of a Nation, and I'm with the team. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi, Kunal.
Well, you know, you said fabulous four
I
times.
was just thinking of that.
Because I call them the Fab Four. We all call them the
super.
Fab Four.
Yes.
Super.
This is the Fabulous Four. Watch this show, not for me, but for them.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I've seen about 4 episodes, and I've really loved every bit of
Arre
it.
wah.
And again, this is not for the sake of it. I genuinely have loved it. The world building is fantastic, and I love period dramas anyway. I'm a history buff, so I love that. You know, that segues into my question right away, because it's a two-parter for the actors and for you, sir. Evolution of period dramas has been very fascinating when it comes to celluloid, you know, be it the series format and even films, right? My question is that when you have so much to work around, do you, as a creator, do you become a little too particular about, you know, making sure the costumes are right? Of course we do. We want to make sure that everything is believable. But do you take those cinematic liberties enough to be like, as long as you're invested in that story, this can probably be, you know, let go ki fine, this ye chal jayega. And for actors, you know, when you're playing characters which are inspired by true events, not necessarily a biopic or anything, right? But does it become important to study those mannerisms, study those, you know, quirks and nuances which enhance that character from those times?
You should feel like you're in 1919. That's basically, it should not look like as if you have, it's a formal approach. Dekho bhai, it's a period kind of film. You should not do it like that. You should do it so it's handheld, because it should be like as if you're experiencing something that is now. If you were living then, it would not be period. And that's what we had wanted to create, which is, and therefore, whether it's my production designer, Meghna, or my costume designer, Thea, there's a lot of detail, there's a lot of research. But at the same time, as far as their story is concerned, it's a story of 4 friends. And I don't think that you can turn around and say that people behaved in a certain way at that time. It's like saying in 1970s people behaved in a certain way.
Right.
They spoke in a certain way. No sir, none of that happened. It's not as if they acted in a certain way either. It is life. And in that life, it's basically, we were trying to portray that as really as we could.
Fabulous. You guys.
You know, the thing is that when already something that is so well researched is given to us, or we come on board for something that is so well researched, of course things become much easier for us. There is a whole army of people that is putting in their hard work to put together every possible tool that we would need to help us to be able to get into the character or get into the skin of the character, and that's exactly what's happened over here. Regarding getting comfortable, say like the clothing that we are wearing or the language that we are speaking, I feel like that is something you have to get used to it. Anything new that you put on, say right now suddenly you put me into a sari, I will be a little uncomfortable, and then by the day while I'm wearing it, it'll get to me and I'll start feeling comfortable.
Right.
So it's just basically that. So I feel after all the research that they've put in, for us to get comfortable with our characters, the task was basically to like adapt to these kind of things. And also I feel somewhere or the other there is something which is already within our systems. I think luckily all of us come from that belt. So there is probably something we've seen, we've heard of, we've come from, you know, we've had families maybe within our own families or across. We've heard certain, like for me, I know my village which is in Punjab. I remember from my childhood, I have seen marriages, death ceremonies, I've seen all of that. And I remember how the dadis and nanis at that time used to behave. They used to hold their dupatta in a certain way. When they used to cry in a certain way. There is a way women in Punjab cry, there is a way women in Punjab give orders, roam around, how they do their chores daily. So all of that I feel like I just had to basically get into it, tap that memory.
Right.
And of course all the tools have helped me get there.
Super. You guys?
Of course, I mean, we're playing fictional characters, but you know, the Waking of a Nation is inspired by true events.
Exactly.
But of course, we tried our best to be the characters from the past. And I come from a Punjabi household. My dadi speaks in Punjabi, my dad speaks in Punjabi, so I take the language from them.
Right.
So that way it helped me a lot. And yeah, as Nikita was also mentioning that, you know, the script had it all. Like, it was so well written and well researched. So yeah, we were given the material and we had to like put our bit.
Right. And Taaruk and Bhawsheel, anything you all like to add?
I mean, I think sometimes the shaping of the character you're playing has a lot to do with the setting you're in and the surrounding you have. For example, a very integral part of this story is the four friends.
Yeah.
And you know, it's friends like family. That kind of shapes the values given to each character, because somewhere down the line you have to adapt to those values, and it kind of helps that most of the work is done for you in that way, from the world that's created. Like Sahil said, we're playing fictitious characters. I think the main goal was to kind of make it as honest as possible, as earnest as possible, and as raw and unfiltered as possible. So I think, you know, it's rather than trying to be something, I think the people around you make you that.
Right. Of course. And Bhawsheel, finally, firstly, I have to say on a lighter note, thank you for showing your hair. Everybody is, you know, so used to you being in a pagdi, I guess. So I'm just, you know, please continue.
I think this is a story about ordinary people stuck in extraordinary circumstances. And I think four of us are ordinary actors who are very rightly so and very beautifully stuck in an extraordinary vision of our director. So for me,
they're not ordinary actors.
We weren't stuck, we chose to be here. We were selected and then we chose to be here.
Intentional choice.
Yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous. Ram, so I have a question for you. This one, you know, and I find it very fascinating because, as I mentioned about the evolution of period dramas, I think there is one of the best evolution that has happened is the casting of white actors, because it's been dismal in the past, you know, because it's caricaturish, it's tropey and all that, right? And here, apart not on the list, they've seen a couple of shows earlier as well. Fine white actors doing their jobs well, not just being the villainy, trope. My question, also on a parallel note, General Dyer looks very much like James Marsden. I don't know if that came across. I just had to put it out.
Who's that?
James Marsden is the guy who was in Westworld.
Yeah.
He's very similar. I mean, we can probably goof about it later.
Yeah.
But no, my question is that, how cognizant do you become as a creator? Because we are telling a story which is not as much as about, the Indian setting and about how these four friends and everything, but as much as about them as well. Because there are obviously important scenes which need to be having the same set of emotions, and it's meant for this audience as well as the global audience as well. So please tell me about it.
So we flew down 12 actors from London, and there is a British school of acting, just like there is an American school of acting which is method acting. वो एक British school of acting जो है वो उसके ज़हन में है. They've been taught theatre from childhood, right? They know, and when they come, their professionalism, their etiquette, they don't sit down until you ask them to sit down. They're there on time, they know their lines, they gave of themselves. They didn't know about this history because England mein ye, this is not taught to them.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't know about the massacre. So when they read the script, they said, okay, let us look this up. And they came of, really wanting to, they came and they became India lovers.
Oh.
Okay. And at the same time, obviously because there is a school of acting which is real, they got it. So extremely fine actors to play off, and you can see that they've done it in a very natural kind of way. They're not playing caricatures.
Precisely. Super. And another question that I have, and this is a little parallel from the show, is that the purity of, for you guys acting and for you, sir, creating a world, right? There is a certain sense of purity that comes into it and that usually is so much more prevalent when you're doing your first project. And you don't have those expectations, you have technically nothing to lose. And that sometimes to some people might be contaminated may be a harsher word, but maybe gets affected in one way or another. Even today, when you do projects which make an impact and you obviously want to be loved for everything, even today when you choose a project, be it for you creating, be it for you acting, how do you manage to sustain that sense of purity that these external factors don't take over?
I think just by being scared. Yeah. That's it. Just don't. This is cinema में जो माँ जो होती है ना, वो आप please don't take माँ for granted. If you take cinema for granted, it'll come and slap you.
Right.
So you have to be very scared about cinema.
Not scared. Of course, you're scared, but I also feel that the camera.
Yeah.
No. I can be wrong, sir. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just saying the camera is something that captures everything.
Right.
In your head, you can think that I'm trying to fool the camera, but no. It captures your lies, it captures your dishonesty. So if your intent is right, and I feel like that goes for life as well, if your intent is in the right place, your heart is in the right place, of course you will feel scared and you will doubt yourself, but at the end of it, you'll get there.
Right.
No, but I think she's right about that for sure, which is that there's a certain honesty that when you approach it with, वो दिखता है.
वही है ना, अगर आप राजमा चावल दिल से बनाओगे तो अच्छे ही लगेंगे. So this show is made with purity. That's why you're talking about the purity in the show.
Right.
So hats off to that person over there.
Exactly.
कड़ी चावल दिल से बनाएंगे अच्छे नहीं.
राजमा चावल.
सब अपनी अपनी favorite dish का analogy डाल सकते हैं इसमें. Taaruk, anything you would like to add to that?
I mean, they've said it all. I just think that yes, if I don't think if you do anything with honesty,
Yes.
It might not be the best thing, but it can never be wrong.
Right.
It can never be half-hearted.
Who has given anybody the authority to? In life, there is no take two. Okay, so that's first rule of cinema.
Right.
There is no take two. You get it and you move on.
Super.
None of us have, and the thing is, as actors, a lot of times we take this for granted, that when you're in front of the camera, you're on your mark, you're in the middle of the scene and all, and supposingly if you fumble, you forget the line, you'll just look out of the camera and say, हाँ वो line क्या था? Sorry sir, let's just do one more. We all do these things.
Of course.
But here, this was not allowed.
Oh.
So I guess it's very enjoyable after a certain point, because you're also playing with your own mind.
Yeah.
At any point, if you forget your line or something like that, you have to improvise and then
Exactly.
somehow get back at it. You have to find your way back if you're a little lost. I feel I used to get tongue-tied at some points when it came to the language, because when you're trying to improvise, your first language is today's language.
Instinct, yeah.
Whereas you're speaking that language. I remember this one time when I was doing a scene with Sahil, he's come and he's put the bag there, and I really want to say, give me that bag. And I just can't get the Hindi of bag. And I was like, I can't say bag. And I'm like, oh, they. And the guy's not understanding what is oh. I just kept saying, oh, utte.
Oh my God.
And then finally I think somehow I said Thela, which I don't think worked. But yeah, so I feel that was a bit of a task to talk and pronounce. That was a trick.
No, which is not to say that, because Shantanu Srivastav and Satyajit Nath have written the script along with me and over 5 years. So we're very, very on point even in terms of script lines, etc. But to get to those lines, you have to, in a way, actors are a little like wild animals. They should not be tamed, nor should they be told that we are shooting them, so that you can capture them in their wild freedom. Because that's really what I'm here to do. I'm not here to tame, I'm here to actually capture them with the energy that they bring.
Fabulous.
He is actually, there is a ringmaster in the series.
Yeah, he's the actual ringmaster.
There is a ringmaster of our lives.
Of course. I know, right? And we should actually thank Dada for doing this. I got some great anecdotes out of you.
Yeah, actually.
Which is exactly what we do, which we will embrace life.
Embrace life, improvise here as well.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely, fabulous. Just a couple of things when we round it up. Sir, for you again, I think the idea of presenting a show which is very information heavy, you're right, and the problem is that a lot of creators try to dumb it down. They insult probably the viewer's intelligence. Lately it's been, sometimes it isn't done that much, but it's still very prevalent. How do you have this conviction that no matter what, I have to make sure that the point is proven and my audience will understand, as long as my execution is as clear as you've envisioned it to be?
So we'll know on March 7th.
No, but I mean, I can vouch for it as of now.
Thank you.
I think you answered that in the beginning. It's the intent. It's the honesty.
It's the honesty.
It's the honesty. Your heart is in the right place from at every step that you're taking.
I think what happens
and then
is,
it all comes together.
when they say that a work is layered, and what does that mean? It means that it's reaching different parts of your body. So there are some parts of it which are reaching your heart, there are some parts which are reaching your mind, and there are some parts of it which are reaching your eyes. And so you should do work that is reaching all these parts of your body, and which is what I'm trying to do. Because yes, allow us, all of us, to have the opportunity to let all these parts of our body get nourished.
Nice. Fabulous. And finally, for the four of you, anyone can chime in for this one. I think y'all are again prime examples and the best examples of some of the finest thing that OTT was meant to be in the first place. You see great actors finally getting that acceptance, finally getting that space where there is, okay, this is a good actor, I'm seeing in this show, he's headlining this, that, etc. How much do you look back at your career when maybe times were tougher, and you probably thought to yourself, this should have worked out? Do you have any of those regrets at all, or do you believe that it was always meant to be a part of your journey?
I'm sure each of us out here, because we've had this conversation just a while ago, we all think that the universe has its own plan always. Whatever has not worked out has been for the greater good. Whatever has worked out, like this show, is for the greater good. And we are all very grateful to be sitting here, to be a part of this. Thank you for calling us great actors, firstly.
Of course.
And I hope that each one of us, not just on OTT, as people like to think, are also seen everywhere.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, she said it. It's like, I just paraphrase.
Yeah.
Just say ditto.
Ditto.
I believe, मतलब मेरे डैडी बोलते हैं कि we don't know what's good for us. Maybe we were thinking कि यार ये हो जाता ना, ये बहुत अच्छा होता, but somebody who's sitting there right there, उसको ऊपर से दिख रहा है कि वहाँ पर जो है वो तेरे लिए सही नहीं है.
जो रिंग मास्टर है वो
असली
रिंग मास्टर.
I think वो जब मिलना है तभी मिलना है, तो सही होता है हमारे लिए.
Heart should be in the right place.
Yeah.
Intent,
Absolutely.
honesty.
Absolutely. Anything you like to add?
For me, those are not regrets, those are opportunities to become a better version of myself. So I said it earlier also. I couldn't even have imagined that I would be sitting with one of the most acclaimed filmmakers of our country, probably in the world. Emmys मिला हुआ सर को, nominated है. Waking of a Nation के लिए मिल जाएगा.
मिल जाएगा.
So that way it's just an opportunity Like even if I had to give like 5 rounds of auditions for Hari Singh Aulak, every round of audition for me was an opportunity to try to understand like what does Ram sir want. Well, why is he calling me again and again?
Yeah.
How can I make it better? And I still don't know what I did in the show, but yeah, thankfully we're sitting here, so high amount of gratitude.
सब सही हुआ.
Yeah.
कुछ तो ठीक किया है.
कुछ तो ठीक किया है. And as he's already vouched for it continuously himself that you are great actors, you've done a
He's
great job.
The Fab Four.
Fab Four. Fabulous. And that is just the perfect way to run it up. Thank you so much, guys. I've seen 4. I cannot wait to see the rest of the
Thank you so
episodes.
much.
I really loved it. I wish you all the best for the show and
Thank you so
everything
much.
will line up ahead.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.